Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. I am strongly opposed to H.R. 2096, which would repeal provisions of a law enacted by the District of Columbia because D.C. deserves the right to govern itself, plain and simple. The Supreme Court has held that Congress can delegate full legislative authority to the District of Columbia for local matters. However, Republicans choose not to do so. Police officers are entrusted with extraordinary authority to protect public safety. The vast majority of officers exercise it honorably and bravely. However, there must be accountability and transparency for instances in which officers violate their oath of office. H.R. 2096 would repeal provisions of a 2023 D.C. law that made it easier for the police department to discipline officers for crimes and serious misconduct. Before that law, the department had been forced to rehire a significant number of officers it had fired for crimes and official misconduct. Let me provide examples of the types of officers the department had to rehire. Officers convicted or arrested for child abuse, sexual assault, indecent exposure, drunk driving, causing injuries, domestic violence, and assault while off duty. D.C. also had to provide millions of dollars in back pay to those officers it was forced to rehire, and D.C. paid millions of dollars to resolve police officer misconduct lawsuits. Before the 2023 D.C. law, every single D.C. police chief for at least the prior 25 years has requested more authority to discipline officers. H.R. 2096 would inexplicably revoke this authority. By bringing H.R. 2096 to the floor, Republicans are declaring they know better than the D.C. police chief how to run the department. Let's hear what some of these D.C. police chiefs have had to say about this authority. Let's start with former Chief Peter Newsom. Said he had to allow, quote, very bad police officers back into our department, close quote. Former Chief Charles Ramsey said, quote, it is demoralizing to the rank and file police officers who really do not want to have those kinds of people in their ranks. It causes a tremendous amount of anxiety in the public. Our credibility is shot whenever these things happen, close quote. And former Chief Robert Conte said that this authority would, quote, help reduce the risk of returning poor performers to the police force, close quote. Following the devastating murder of George Floyd, D.C. enacted the Comprehensive Policing and Justice Reform Amendment Act of 2022, which in pertinent part made it easier for the police department to discipline officers. H.R. 2096 would repeal that discipline provision in that law. H.R. 2096, as introduced, includes a purpose section. The purpose is to, and I quote, combat the rise in violent crime in our nation's capital by eliminating policies which place law enforcement personnel of the District of Columbia at risk and discourage them from serving, and ensuring such personnel will be treated equitably and fairly, and the recruitment and retention of such personnel shall be increased. Close quote. We are not surprised that the version of H.R. 2096 on the floor today does not include that purpose section, since it is inaccurate. Violent crime here is not rising in D.C. In 2025, violent crime in D.C. is down 22% compared to the same period in 2024. In 2024, violent crime in D.C. was the lowest in over 30 years. Let me repeat. Violent crime is falling in D.C., and it is at a 30-year low in the District of Columbia. The D.C. Police Department is not alone in having difficulty recruiting and retaining police officers. Police departments of all sizes across the country have had this difficulty for many years. A survey conducted in 2019, before jurisdictions across the country enacted police accountability and transparency legislation after the murder of George Floyd, found that, quote, the difficulty in recruiting law enforcement officers and employees is not due to one particular cause. Rather, multiple social, political, and economic forces are all simultaneously at play, close quote. H.R. 2096 would repeal 4 discipline provisions. First, H.R. 2096 would repeal a provision that removes police officers disciplined for collective bargaining. Several states, including states represented by Republicans, prohibit collective bargaining by police officers. The 2023 D.C. law maintained that right of police officers to collectively bargain, except over discipline, and maintained the civil service protections and due process rights of officers. Collective bargaining by police officers has been widely criticized for protecting police officers from discipline. A Republican staff report for the Joint Economic Committee said that, quote, collective bargaining plays a significant role in shielding police officers from the consequences of their misconduct, close quote. Second, H.R. 2096 would reinstitute a 90-day statute of limitations on the police department to commence discipline. The 2023 D.C. law repealed that provision because 90 days was not enough time in some cases to commence discipline. Adjudicators had overturned discipline because the department had exceeded the 90-day statute of limitations, and there is no statute of limitation for most D.C. employees. The home state of the sponsor of H.R. 2096 has an 18-month statute of limitations to commence discipline against police officers. Thirdly, H.R. 2096 would repeal a provision that gave the police chief the authority to increase the discipline proposed by a police trial board, which consists of police officers. Before the 2023 D.C. law, the police chief could only impose or reduce the proposed discipline or order a new trial. The D.C. law increased the discipline power of the chief and reduced the discipline power of the trial board, which may be more inclined to protect their fellow officers from discipline. Fourth, H.R. 2096 would repeal the provision that required the police department to publish on a public website a schedule of officer discipline hearings which are open to the public. The House of Representatives itself publishes on a public website a schedule of its committee hearings. I want to close with a question and a plea. If Republicans support police officers, why hasn't Speaker Johnson installed the plaque honoring the brave police officers, including D.C. officers, who defended this Capitol on January 6th? Federal law requires its installation by March 15, 2023, more than 2 years ago. That plaque, in honor of officers who were killed defending the members of this Congress, defending this institution, is apparently sitting in a closet. The families of those officers who were killed and beaten that day are waiting for the due respect that is owed to their husbands, sons, and fathers. The more than 700,000 D.C. residents who have all the obligations of citizenship, including paying federal taxes and serving in our nation's wars, deserve voting representation in Congress and full home rule. I call on the House of Representatives to pass H.R. 51, the D.C. statehood bill. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlemen.